Our organization has been interested in telling the story of York for many years. And as we started thinking about potential York-related programs for 2025, we realized that there were many other groups in the neighborhood that were similarly interested in York and were already developing their own York-related programs. So rather than trying to develop our programs independent of one another, we decided to bring all the groups together so we can make a big effort to celebrate York and his experience.
There was more written about Seema, the dog, than it was about York.
I first became aware of your work because of the series of portraits that you had done about historic Black pioneers from Oregon.
The Oregon Black Pioneer paintings I did. That was like really kind of transformative for me.
And many people do not know the history of their own state, let alone the history of the African Americans in this state.
I was especially interested in, pioneer history, and that was so missing. So I was very excited to come out and hear more about York.
Well, man, it is an honor, and that's part of it, because I get that understanding of being a fisherman, a hunter, those kinds of things. I get an understanding of what it must have been like to be a pioneer coming through some of these frontier territories in spaces where no one has ever stepped foot at and coming through for the first time. Man, it must have been an awesome deal.
I was on the boat with Captain John today, who's a 30-year boating expert that took us in this custom boat he built with his friends. It's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. We got to see parts of the river that we hadn't before. It was great, being in community with folks.
YorkFest has been amazing so far. We've brought together tons of people to celebrate the incredible story of York, our first Black ancestor here in Portland, and it has been so wonderful to see how community has shown up in so many different ways to celebrate our history.
When we stop and think about the story of York, why is it important that we are indeed inclusive in telling his story as we are telling the story of America?
I can't be free until you're free, so what does that look like?
These white men asked a Black enslaved man, what next? These men asked a woman, what next?
Us taking a moment out of our lives to acknowledge someone else is keeping their identity alive long after they're gone.
To actually see the voyage that was made, that was demonstrated throughout the film, to actually see that voyage made me think again. It's like, wow, I'm always around these historical things, but how much do I know about it?
With the idea that this is a documentary about connection to nature and people of color getting into nature was really interesting to me. So this was fantastic, and I'm so glad that I went, because I learned a lot tonight and I feel really inspired.
Every time I get a chance to tell York's story, it's powerful. When I get into a room of folks, the energy is what feeds me. And so tonight was a powerful performance for me, because the audience was dialed in. Once I started that first monologue, that first conversation, and everybody gets locked in, for me, it kind of takes me into York. It brings York into me. And so, it felt really good.
His verbal recollection of York, I felt him. I felt that he did a great job of capturing the spirit of York.
Well, I think it's on us to learn the story, to tell the story, to paint the person, to write a musical about him, to write a play about him, to write a book about him, because he's an amazing figure.
YorkFest is immensely important right now because of the state that we're currently in. Without diving too deep, York Fest is bringing the opportunity to bridge the gap between the old and the new in a way where you're able to understand the history of exploration and what that means for different communities and how exploration brings different communities together.
York. York.
York. Yo, York.
York. York. Big Medicine.
York.
York, it is such a pleasure to meet you.
He is my brother, he is my ancestor, he is who I am, and therefore I would greet him with a hello. I would say, it's nice to meet you, Ben York.
York, good to see you, man. I don't know.
I think it sounds kind of cool. I would say, what's up, Big Medicine?